Recording this first.
Recording in progress.
Hey, and again, I just want to welcome you to this session. It's day 3 of our Hot Flashes Be Gone. And today we are looking at the most awaited, the 6-element system. Everyone was asking, can you tell us this 6-element system? We just want to get on with it and just do it. And today we get to do that. And I know, I am so grateful that you're here on day 3. There's one thing I say, there's a lot of people that start things. Hardly many finish. And the prize is reserved for the finishers. The prize is not for the starters. Anyone can start, but the finishers are the ones who get the gist of the whole thing. And so therefore, I want you to be so proud of yourself for being here on day 3, right? For being here on day 3, just hanging on, trying to get all the nuggets that you can. I am so delighted. And if you're joining us for the first time, I really ask you to make sure that you watch day 1 and day 2. These sessions are stacking onto each other, and I don't want you to feel disjointed. Now, obviously, if you are watching from the beginning, you have seen that my introduction, that's me introduced there. I am so delighted. And one of the bit I like about that introduction is when I was doing a presentation, and one of the things that came to me was saying that the dreamers of the day are dangerous, for they might act on those dreams and make things possible, right? We are here as a community of women over 45. We want to change the game. We're going to act on these ideas and make our life well. We want to return to being beautiful, well women. That's why we are here. Yeah, we don't want to remain in the pits. We don't want to remain in the struggle camp with the 90% of women who don't know and even a little bit of the information that you're hearing today. So you should be so proud of yourself. And if you're joining us for the first time and like 100% you've never heard of me and you don't know who I am, my name is Angela Karanja. I am a psychologist, a well women psychologist, self-care psychologist for women over 45. And I'm so delighted to be the one presenting this session, because every woman that hears this, their life is going to change for the better, right? For the better. Because when we get to this age, this season, this so very natural season, a lot of us begin to struggle with aches, ailments, bizarre behavior. Why? Why is it in such a natural season we are struggling and suffering with unnatural symptoms? Why? I mean, why? Well, logic dictates that it shouldn't happen like that. So why is it happening? And that's why we are here to address it. And the first day 1, we talked about the menopause mindset. The menopause mindset that's keeping 90% of women over 45 trapped in aches and ailments, right? Dis-ease. Why are our bodies not at ease? Why should that be happening? Why? We talked about the mindset. Then yesterday, we talked about returning to being beautiful, well women. And I shared with you a 5-step process. I hope you remember of how this happens and how we can return to being beautiful, well women. And we all can. And also I shared with you an exercise to help you relieve some stress, right? Because a lot of women in this age, we have toxic stress, chronic stress. Why? Really, why? Right? And these are the questions we are asking here, having conversations that disrupt our usual way of thinking so that we can get answers that take us to the next level, answers that advance us, right? So let me put that thing back. I don't know why it's gaping out. I don't know why it's wanting to gape out, but hey ho. So I'm excited that you're here on day 3. So the 6-element system. Before I talk about the 6-element system, which I will be sharing here as a slide, our aim here is that you as a woman over 45, you are going to be so well within and without that when you step out there, your sheen and shine will be felt by those people around you. And here is the thing. Actually, I thought about this morning. What if every woman that's here today would be in that position that when we walk out, we have a spring in our step because we feel agile, we feel strong, we feel we are thriving. Imagine if that was the case, instead of being, we are in that complaining group of ailments, aches, downtrodden, that kind of a thing that has been synonymized with the menopause season, right? And this is what I imagined. I said, oh my goodness, imagine every woman would walk out with a spring on their step. And then everyone would be like, something has changed. Something has changed. And when they say something has changed, you will look at them and smile. And this is what you will tell yourself. Oh, you think this looks good? You should see me first thing in the morning when I haven't got the makeup, when I haven't got the clothes, when I'm stood in front of my mirror. I look great. Can you imagine feeling like that? So that your validation is not even coming from outside there. It's coming from the fact that I looked at myself in the mirror even before I washed, even before I put makeup, even before I did anything. I looked at myself from top to bottom and I said, oh, look at you, beautiful, beautiful, well woman. Because that's how I felt and that's how I looked. Imagine. And this is possible. This is something I do on a daily. This is something I know a couple of women do on a daily. Imagine that kind of confidence, that kind of self-esteem. It's immovable. It is not dependent on what's happening out there. And I'll tell you what, even when you begin to change and have that spring on your step, not everyone will be so excited about your results. Some of them will begin to accuse you of trying to look young. But in your head, you tell yourself, I am made for expansion. I am made to thrive. I am made to be agile. I am made to thrive. I am made to be productive in this season. Because not everyone out there is happy about you. Because as you know, when we were talking about the mindset, there's a lot of competition out there, people wanting to compete and compare and being jealous and all that. There's a lot of that. which is happening in the 90% of women, which is what keeps them in that ailing group. Of course, many will not want to agree that. But over here, we're not looking for votes. We're looking to share information that's going to change us on a very cellular level. You don't need everyone to agree with you. You just need to know that you know inside of yourself, and you feel that you are a beautiful, well woman. And remember yesterday when I talked about personal experience being the loudest evidence. Anyone else can say out there you're trying to make up, or you're trying to be what you're not. But you're the one that knows that you're well, you're healthy, you feel strong, you feel well, you had a good night's sleep. None of your beats ache. You know that, and you don't have to convince anyone. So when they accuse you of being all that, you can stand in your confidence, in your calm confidence, knowing that indeed you're a beautiful, well woman, right? That is something I thought about this morning, and I thought, wow, imagine if we had millions of women feeling like that every morning. Every morning. Oh, what a beautiful, consciousness would rise. It would be such a beautiful sort of aura to behold, right? So today, let's go straight to the 6-element system. I'm going to share my screen because I truly want you to get this one, right? I truly want you to just give me 1 second. I will share the screen. Gosh, I am so excited about this. So excited. Whoa, you won't believe just how excited I am in all, and to be honest, of all the topics, most people were truly waiting for this, right? So this is the Well Woman Framework, and it consists of the 6 elements, right? This is the 6-element system. As you can see, it's in the shape of a fish, right? It's in the shape of a fish. And at the bottom, you can count 1, 2, 3. And at the top, there is 4, 5, 6. So what does this mean? At the tippery end of maybe the face of the fish, you see health and wellness. Now, we have the head, the heart, and the gut. Can you see? The head, the heart, and the gut. And that is what we call the inner work. And I'll explain in a minute. Then we have at the top 3 is movement, food, and community. And that is what we call the outer work. I want you to write those down. From the bottom, start with the head, the heart, and the gut. And label that as the inner work. And then write movement, food, and community. And that is what we call the outer work. I'll stop sharing now, because this is when we go into conversation. You saw the head and the heart and the gut. This is work that is within us. This is the inner work. This is what we must do within us. Do you remember when I said the going thing about eliminating menopause belly, or eliminating hot flashes, or eliminating all these nasty symptoms of menopause? The first thing people throw at you is, oh, you need to start moving, doing exercises, and eating well. Do that and you're done. And I say that's not true. It's not even close to the truth. It is part of it, but it's not even the basic part of it. The basics are the head, the heart, and the gut. And how so, you may be asking? I want you, for those of you who have the workbook, those who have taken on our VIP and have the workbook, on your workbook, it says components of the 6 elements. And all of us, we have a notebook, a note sheet. I want you to make sure that you write this down. If you forget everything else that I say in these sessions, remember this 6 element system can completely transform your life, can completely transform the way you live as a woman over 45, your wellness as a woman over 45. The information I'm sharing here, you're not going to find it just by Googling AI or anything. This is research-based information, right? And it's deep. So as you can imagine, we've only got 1 hour today. So in fact, we've got about 37 minutes. So we may not be able to cover everything. However, I'm going to mention each one of them. And today, I'm going to be inviting you to come, come and join us to go deeper in these concepts. Because it's one thing hearing, and it's actually another thing putting what you've heard in action. Information, I often say, information without action, you do not get transformation. And why are we here? Because we want something to change. We want transformation. That's why we are here, right? And obviously, I am so grateful that you're here to learn. But if you learn this information, so it's just in your head, and you don't put it into practice so that it changes your life, then you will have wasted your time. You will have wasted your time. And I don't think you, as a professional woman, you're out to waste your time. That's not what you're here to do, or that's not what you want to do. You're here because I know you genuinely want to transform your life. You want to thrive. I know some people, I had a conversation with some people yesterday, and there is a bit of hesitance because they are afraid of what other people will say. When you begin to thrive in this season, when everyone's expecting you to be going downhill, when everyone's expecting you to be mourning with aches and ailments and suffering, they are afraid of what other people will say. But who and where is the pain happening? That's what I asked them. Okay, you're saying you're afraid of what people will say, but who's carrying the pain? Who's struggling with their knees? Who's struggling with their ankles? Who's struggling with their neck? Who's struggling with all this bizarre behavior, the mood swings? Who is struggling like that? So then you have to look after number one, which is you, not anyone else. What they say should be none of your business. In fact, remember when we were doing the menopause mindset, this is the same thing that has kept so many women trapped. What will other people say? And what other people say becomes what influences how we live our life. We've got to spring out of that because it causes us dis-ease. it is not in harmony with who we truly are. And therefore, we cannot allow it to continue controlling our lives. So, the 6-element system, right? When you think about the head, I want you to think about the brain. I want you to think about your mental faculties. What do these have to do with your struggling in menopause or not struggling? A couple of years ago, I learned about the 6 higher mental faculties from my mentor, Bob Proctor. And he said how, hold on a minute, let me close this. He said how when we develop these mental faculties, we become unstoppable. In fact, whilst he was teaching that, he talked about what Napoleon Hill said. Napoleon Hill said, an educated person is a person who has so developed the faculties of their mind that they can attract anything they desire without violating the rights of others and without blaming others for their problems. What are we here to do? What are we here to do? We are here to reclaim, to take charge of our wellness. We talked about our health, our wellness. It's not the healthcare system's problem. It's not their problem. And if there is illness and disease, it's my problem. I'm the one that's struggling. Unfortunately, we have been taught that our wellness is dependent on someone else, the healthcare system. Oh, what someone did to me. Oh, what they said. Oh, what they did to me. And I'm not saying that those systems should not serve us, but it's our responsibility to bring ourselves back to harmony. And we can, without necessarily going for quick fixes, like going for the pills, going for microwave solutions, going for whatever shiny object that is thrown unto us so that we can have those quick fixes. We can do better than that. We can take charge of our hormones. We can take charge of our brains and our bodies and bring ourselves back to harmony. Yesterday, we talked about returning back to being a beautiful, well woman. When we were born, we were all beautiful, well women. And then things happen and we lose our wellness. We are battered, bruised, broken, and the wellness is affected. And we begin to suffer. But then I asked you a question. How long are you willing to suffer? Maybe you're 45 or maybe 47 like me, nearly 48. If I'm going to live until I'm 90 or 100, how long do I want to suffer with these aches and ailments? How do I really want my life to be this miserable? Is that what I envision? No. I want to be able to get up in the morning and spring. I want to be able to dream and travel and go places and be places and give people compliments and get adventurous. See places I've never seen, looking healthy, feeling healthy. Right? So let's go to the head part of the framework, which is the 6-element system. So the head, when we talk about the head and the brain, one of the mental faculties is called perception. Perception is the way you see things. How do you see things? Because it's all up to you. Einstein said, the most important decision any human being will ever make is to decide, do I live in a friendly universe or not? Because how you see the universe, that's going to be your experience. Perception. Perception. What glasses are you wearing? Have you ever been in the presence of someone who is so negative? So negative, their perspective is so negative that you feel drained. That's perception. In the same space with someone else, they are seeing something so negative. They are so negative. And what does that kind of negativity do? It rots your bones, literally. Rots your bones. And then a lot of us will begin to say, oh, it's the season. No, it's not the season. It's our perception, how we see things. And we have to change things. Another mentor of mine, Wayne Dyer, used to tell us that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So how do you see this season for you? The next, I'm going to go quickly because I can see time is rolling. When we talk about higher mental faculties, is the will, right? The will. The will is like focus, your determination. We've all decided we want to be beautiful, well women. That's a very good thought. But I said in the beginning of this session, the prize is reserved for the finishers, not for the wishers. You can wish, and the will is not the same as the wish. The wish is, oh, I wish I can be this way. I wish I can wake up not feeling bad. It starts from there. And then you say, I will do whatever it takes for me to feel well. And then you go, I must do whatever it takes for me to feel well. And then it goes, I am doing whatever it takes for me to feel well. That focus, that determination, it's a mental faculty. And that's where community and support comes in. Because a lot of these things, we are battling a lot of old paradigm. We're battling a lot of old thinking. And you need new people to support you when you're running this journey to returning to being a beautiful, well woman. Now, the next higher mental faculty is imagination. All through this time, I have been speaking to you about imagine. Imagine. Imagination. Imagination is the root of everything good that you see. And it's also actually the root of everything evil that we see. So what are you going to imagine? What are you going to imagine? Because that's where it starts. I think Mary Morrissey says that everything is created twice. Once in here, in your imagination. And the next one is when you actually see it or experience it. You must have imagined it first before you saw it or you experienced it. Yeah. And then we have memory. This is where you embed this imagination in every cell of your body, and it becomes, this is me. This is the new me. And the body must embody this thing that I have imagined. And then there's reason. When you talk about reason, what I have been doing in the last 2 days is to show you the reasoning behind, the research behind the concepts that I'm talking about. I have given you quotes. I have given you research findings. I have spoken to you about these things. Now I want you as a professional woman to look at all the results and tell me, why would you choose? If you know there is a better way, if you know there is this way, why would you choose to remain in the pits when you know that surely there is a way that you can go up the hill, up the mountain, where there are better views, where there is better wellness, where the air is fresher? Why would you choose to remain in the pits? Reasoning. And then in our head, there is intuition. These are the moments, like for example, before we started this, just after we started this session, I spoke to you about this that came to me I imagined, but the idea came to me. Imagine if every woman would actually be able to get up in the morning and stand in front of the mirror like this, right? Like stand in front of the mirror and say, gorgeous is what I am. Gorgeous is how I look. And it's not because you've got makeup, or it's not because you've got whatever, not because of anything that has been done on you or to you, but because you know that is your status. You're a beautiful woman. Imagine if that is how we operated. That for me was an idea that came to me, and I thought, wow. It was in a moment when I was still. Now, you're probably asking, how does the head then, these 6 higher mental faculties, influence how well we feel? I'm sure you can answer that. Remember, we talked about perception. If you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, I look good, I look good, I look good, I am well, not deceiving yourself. And even when you don't feel well, know that there's something I can do to get better. Because if there's one thing, deceiving yourself that you're well and your ankles or knees are hurting. That's deceiving yourself. We have to first accept, this is the position I am. It is not well, but I'm sick and tired of being this sick and tired. And therefore, I'm going to take action. Remember yesterday when I talked about until you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, nothing happens. You just wallow there like the 90% of women that are wallowing. But I don't think anyone wants to actually want to do that. We do that because maybe we don't know anything else. But now you know something else. You know a different way. And that's why I'm so proud of you that you're here. You should be proud of yourself that you showed up to hear this. Right? So the head, the higher mental faculties. Now, do you see when I said, when people tell you, oh, it's just exercises and food? Have you ever seen people who are, they measure their food, they eat, I don't know what, they are looking at the grams they eat, they look at the, organic, they buy things from, but you look at them, then they don't look like they're thriving. Why? Because that's not the only thing. Maybe they have neglected one of these elements. And as we go through them, you will begin to authentically evaluate yourself on the bits that you may be wanting to work on. It may be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even all of them 6. But you can. You can. You can. If another person can do it, you can. You can. So now let's move over to the heart. The next element is the heart. And you can see, remember I showed you this was the inner work, inner work, inner work. So the head first, how our brain works, and we will go deeper in this, the psychology, the neuropsychology of our thinking. Yeah. And just, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever thought about something tragic and you actually felt fear? And probably even you began to shake and you began to sweat. Have you ever? Of course you have. And if you haven't, you're very lucky that you've never thought anything negative and you actually felt fear and maybe even began to sweat or even started closing your doors and everything. You know, you started taking action so that that thing doesn't come to be. Our heads, our brain, we are powerful beings. Thoughts. On the first day and the second day, I really emphasized that we are electro. Our thoughts are like electrons. And then our feelings are magnetic. These are the ones that pull the things. When we fear, we pull more things to make us more afraid. I mean, it was Job in the Bible that said, the thing I feared most has come to me. Magnetic attraction. That's why it's very important. I think I said yesterday to hold every thought captive. Your head. What's happening in your head? Inner work. The next one is our heart. The heart, you know, that's where our feelings, you know, and we're talking, it was Brené Brown recent research that showed that we have about 87 emotions. And in this case, the emotions we are talking about are negative emotions that actually create and make us produce toxicity within our bodies. Toxicity that then affects us. And that's why we have pains and joints. I don't know why I'm wanting to hiccup. Let me drink some water. So, emotions. Now, I want to ask you something. Did you know emotions like shame, guilt, anger, resentment produce dis-ease or illnesses in your body? Did you know that? Do you know that when you eliminate those and when you are at ease, your body begins to heal, including inflammation? Did you know that? This is not something you can go and buy in a bottle. This is self-work. This is something we have to decide to drop. Unfortunately, if you've been living in guilt or shame or anger for a long time, we can get addicted to these negative emotions. And then, when we get ill, we begin to blame a season for why we are ill. Instead of looking introspection into what haven't I resolved. In all ancient teachings, the first command has always been know thyself. Know thyself. What does know thyself mean? Know yourself. And recognize what is it that is within you that is not serving you, that's not helping you. As much as we would like to hold on to the hatred of someone because they did something. I think it was Joyce Meyer once, I had her say that resentment is like drinking poison and then expecting the other person to die. It can't happen. You're the one that's going to die because you're the one that's taken poison. So when we hold on to these negative emotions, we are harming and hurting ourselves. And that's why we have to let go. And that doesn't mean you're exonerating people from their responsibility, but you're letting yourself off the shackles and the chains that cause you pain, right? So examining your heart. What are these emotions that and we talked about when we've been hurt by people, when we've been betrayed, when we've been bruised. Of course you feel bad. But here is a question. How long are you going to entertain these negative feelings and emotions to rent space in your heart and continue to hurt you? How long are you going to do that? And then we blame the season for what's happening. We blame the season when we get these hot flashes. We blame the season. And yesterday I shared that research from Harvard showed that those of us that have experienced trauma, those of us that have experienced adverse experiences are more likely to suffer aggressive symptoms in menopause. Why? Because our hormones have been disturbed. They are not in harmony. That's why releasing trauma, releasing these emotions is so, so important. And if we don't, we're going to have it trapped. We're going to carry that weight. And it comes as true weight. You know, it's proper weight that we don't need. The fact that we are unable to release, I know a lot of us, when we learned how to release people and things, even the weight, the bodily weight fell off. Right? So the heart. And now let's go to the gut. Do you know, every time I present this, people are like, the gut? The gut? What has the gut got to do with how well or unwell I am? In fact, recent research is showing us that the gut has a brain of its own. In fact, it's so important. It's called the enteric nervous system, and it's connected to our brain, right? And the gut, your gut, right, and my gut, actually 95% of our serotonin, which is like our happy hormones, are actually produced and stored in the gut. So when your gut is in disharmony, is it a wonder that you have those mood swings? Is it? There is a lot of research showing the connection between gut issues and mental health problems. Yeah. So it's so refreshing that to know that if we looked after our gut, and I want to ask you something. if you think the gut is not important, just in case you're thinking that, have you ever felt butterflies, just before a big speech, or just before maybe meeting someone new, or just before an experience? Have you ever felt butterflies? The nervousness in the gut? Or have you ever felt, oh, I think something is going to happen, especially us women? We have that a lot. But with years, it is silenced by the disharmony of our gut. That's why, again, like yesterday I shared about when I went to see a coach, and I was wondering, why is my belly, like I'm doing the exercises, I'm eating well, why is this belly just going on and on? It's just expanding. Why? And they were very truthful with me, like facts on face. I had gut issues. And I won't go into detail about all those things, but these are some of the things that we go into detail. And when you understand how to bring your gut into harmony, I mean, a lot of women in menopause complain about bowel disorders. Why? Is it because of menopause, or is it because there's something not right with the gut? Is it the season, or is it the gut? Gut health is very important. Heart health is very important. Head health is very important. This is the inner work that we must address. And then we move over now to the outer work. Remember, do you want me, should I share the, maybe I should share the, should I share the slide again? Do you want us to share the slide again? Let me know if you want us to share the slide again. Yeah, so you can see the top bit again. Yeah. Go on, drop there if you want us to share. Yeah. Elizabeth, you're saying yeah. Milka, yeah. Right. Lucy, yeah. All right, then. I'm going to share it for just a bit, and so that you can see it again. There you go. Can you see it? You can see that. Now, let's talk, have a look at the outer work. We've just addressed the inner work, the head, the heart, and the gut. Yeah. And now we want to address the top three, the outer work, which is movement, food, and community. Movement, food, and community. Now, I'm going to go through these quickly because in about 5 minutes, we are meeting with a VIP backstage for a question and answer session, a continuation of these sessions, and also what we call love seats, where the women can actually, we can have a case study, like go through it, put it apart. Remember, we talked about authentic introspection, authentic reflection, where we actually put ourselves out and decide, you know what, I am ready to do whatever it takes. Therefore, let's pick this apart so that we can put it back again. So we'll quickly go onto the outer work, which is movement, which is exercises, right? Now, a lot of us, a lot of what you see is crazy, like crazy people doing crazy exercises, and you think, gosh, I could never do that. In the last 2 days, we have done very simple exercises that have relieved your stress. True or not? Movement does not have to be you're lifting kettlebell and you're jumping all over the place. That's not it. It could be part of it, but that's not all. It could be even movement of your eyes, movement of your neck. You know, we talk about, in this place, we talk about movement. It could be that, yeah, I am wanting my neck to be, not to retain so much unnecessary weight. So how do I address this? It could be just rubbing your neck up and down, up and down, up and down. And that's your exercise for the day. And of course, we talked about all these 6 must be integrated. So it's nothing to be afraid of when we talk about exercises. We're not going to go crazy like maybe you have experienced before. And now I want to go to food. Food is something you've had, how much you eat. And I just want to mention that, which is something I mentioned yesterday, in menopause years, we as women, we need less to survive, to be alive, and our metabolism goes lower. However, most of us continue with the same eating habits that we've had for years. And then we wonder, why is this weight piling up? And that's the thing. That's what's happening. You are putting on more. You're eating more than you need. And it's not just about eating more than you need, right? Sometimes we develop cravings, especially when our bodies are in disharmony. We develop cravings for the wrong things. So when we talk about food, it's about the kind of food we eat, how often, and also the amount, right? And that might sound simple. And again, there's so many people saying all sorts of things. But when people tell me what they're following, the first thing I ask is, how is that working for you? Because I want you to remember, as human beings, we are biologically framed as hunters and gatherers. Hunting and gathering meant there was feasting and there was fasting. There was feasting and there was fasting. And that's why in those days you didn't hear of people being overweight. You didn't hear of people having some nasty ailments. There was none of that. But then here's what happened. We come to this in the modern world. We don't have to go hunt and gather. The food is in plenty and it's there. And then this ticks me off. The food industry has deceived us that we need to eat little and often. Little and often. And I want you to ask yourself, on what basis is this little and often? When you look at us as human beings, as biological human beings, designed for fasting and feasting, where does eating little and often come in this? It's to keep us, the more little and often you eat, the more little and often you want to eat. And it all adds up. And every time we eat, our insulin shoots up. And it's the insulin saying, oh, let's save some more, let's save some fat, let's save some fat. That's what's happening. But we'll go into depth about, again, remember when we talked about reasoning? In this community, you begin to ask these deep, penetrating questions. Why? Why am I doing this? Why? What is the rationale for this? What is the reasoning? When someone says to you, eat like this, and you ask yourself, why? When you consider yourself as biologically formatted for feasting and then fasting, some of these diets, they truly, you perforate holes in them. Yeah, you perforate holes in them. And we won't go much into that because we will be going into what, and the thing is, as human beings, we were made to have dominion over everything. But unfortunately, a lot of us, food rules us. When you're having cravings, who's ruling you? At that point, who's ruling you? It's the craving, it's the food, the craving, the addiction for food is ruling you at that time. Yeah? But these are concepts we will go deeper into, right? And then we have community. Community is so important because as human beings, we were made to share our experiences and also to be accountable to each other. And that's why, for example, a lot of communities, religious communities, when they're doing something like fasting, they fast in the whole community. So we are in this together. We are supporting each other, right? Unfortunately, in modern world, in fact, I wanted to share that, which is something I shared on social media because the lady allowed me to share. She said to me that that she joined a group on menopause, and what they used to have menopause comedy, and the idea was, listen to this again, why I really encourage you to exercise your reasoning muscles, right? The reasoning was, or you go and laugh away these issues. And one day she came into our community, and then she said to me, do you know, I used to go into this menopause comedy, and yes, we would go and laugh about things that women experience, the hot flashes, the vaginal dryness, the skin dryness, the hair falling off, we would laugh at those. Yes, it would be a momentary relief, but the issue is still outstanding. Of what help is that? And then she said, until I learned that I actually have to face these issues as real issues and then address them from a very cellular point. And then things began to change. And this is why when people join our community, we say that we are here, we have so much fun in this community, but we are not playing around. And we don't mess about with these things because we know that they addictions to all these things. And you will learn emotional addictions. You will learn a lot when you join this community. That we can even, for example, we can even be addicted to complaining. We can even be addicted to being angry. So that when you're not angry, you feel you're not yourself. But that anger is actually poisoning you. But we will learn those. So as you can see, we've covered the head, the heart, the gut, movement, food, community. But I would like to go deeper with you. I would like you to come into our community and go deeper and begin to practice these elements, because it's in putting them into action that you get the transformation. It's in putting this information into action that you get transformation. And how do you integrate these 6 elements? Because none of them will work individually. As you have seen, none of them is going to work individually, right? The woman, she was in this community. Yeah, they used to laugh and everything and all that, but she was still suffering and struggling. Another person, oh, I'm all about exercises. But no, That's not the only thing. Another one is even, picking the last grain of rice. But that's not all. They have to be, it's an integrated system. It cannot be one without the other. And that's what we help you do, to integrate them and to be able to put into action this. And yesterday I talked about this will require intentionality. It requires that you are committed to your wellness. It's my intention to be a beautiful, well woman. This is the life I want to live. This I know is what I was destined to be. I was not destined to be breaking into little pieces of ailments. That's not what I was destined to be, right? And then it will require self-work, right? And then it will require support, because it's very hard to do it solo. You can, but it can take you a long time to see the results. But having a support mentor, a coach, a community is so refreshing, to be able to have an accountability partner, to be able to say to someone, oh, I did this, or to be able to have someone ask you, so how are we doing? So refreshing. Yeah. So we've come to the end of day 3, and right, today what I'm going to ask you to do is on your notes, or on your note sheet, I want you to write down the 6 elements. The 6 elements. And I want you to evaluate, how am I doing on each of this? How am I doing? Like, be very genuine. Be very genuine with yourselves. How am I doing on each one of these? Rate yourself. Authentically rate yourself. And then that is going to be your self-work. Rate yourself. How am I doing? And then ask yourself, where do I need to be more intentional? Where do I need to do more self-work? Where do I need support? Again, be very genuine and authentic with yourself. Because once you shine a light on yourself, that's when healing begins to happen. That's when you know, now I can begin to do the work, right? And then on there's what we call the step forward. After you've done that, I want you to say that I have written this, and this is what I'm going to do. Now, tomorrow, day 4, right? Day 4, I'm going to be inviting you specifically to come in and see exactly how we help women take these steps, take these actions, so they can get transformation. You will be seeing how this happens. And also tomorrow, I'm going to introduce you to the kind of support that you can receive. I'm feeling excited. I don't want to spill the beans, right? And in fact, tomorrow we even have a guest that's going to talk about burnout and menopause. Yesterday, I spoke about 10%. Research is showing us that 10% of women leave work because of menopause-related ailments. At this age, when you have accumulated a wealth of knowledge and resources, and then you leave work, of course the society loses. And even yourself, you lose sharing your gifts, your talents, your personality. That's not what we want. to be in service. We want to be able to express ourselves in the most productive ways. So tomorrow I'm going to be talking about day 4 is going to be about speeding up results. Doing this self-work, being intentional and having the support, and how you can speed up your results. And tomorrow, each one of you is going to decide, what is it that I want to happen within a certain time? I mean, this workshop is called Hot Flashes Be Gone. A lot of you we just want these hot flashes to be gone. Yeah, there are people wanting different things. For me, it was the belly. I was like, nah. The other things, I didn't mind them as much. But the belly, I was like, no, I'm not having this. But here's what happened. When I began to practice each of these 6 elements, the belly plus the hot flashes plus all other crazy, in fact, even there was an inflammation I'd had a long time ago, a knee inflammation, even that disappeared. And I'll share with you exactly what I did. And it was all of the 6 elements, but it was specifically on the food bit. I did something that accelerated and sped up the results, and the inflammation left for good. So I'm excited to share that. You guys, I am so happy. I've got to jump. I know my VIPs are waiting, and I can see some of you are here. So I will jump out and go and see them so we can have further conversations. If you want to join the VIP, please do so. Just drop I want to join here, and then I will invite you in. I'll show you how to get in, or you can WhatsApp me right now. Actually, let me show you. You can WhatsApp me right now, and the WhatsApp number is, let me show you. The WhatsApp number is +44 7385 915 862. That's +44 7385 915 862. I am looking forward to connecting with you, and I will speak to you guys tomorrow for day 4, and we'll be talking about speeding up results. So I'll speak to you tomorrow, and have a great rest of your day, and God bless you today. Bye-bye now.